Hello, hello, hello. Happy Monday to everybody. Welcome to the BCOG family. Can you all hear me well? Let me know if you can hear me well in the chat. Okay, thanks, Janice. So I hope everybody's having a great day so far. I am. I'm glad to still be among the living. Someone may not have woken up this morning, but I'm thankful to God that I was one who did and that you all were on that wake up list as well. So before we go on, I want to say hello to everyone that I see in the chat so far. Hello, Blue. Thank you for joining and being the first one here. Hello, Shay. Please drive safely. Hello, who that? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, Shanice, another moderator. Hello, Janice. Beautiful Janice. Hello, beautiful Senna. How are you? Thank you for joining. And hello, Larry. Thank you for joining as well. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope everybody had a great weekend. My weekend was short, but it was still great. Thank you, Senna. Thanks to my wonderful moderators. I appreciate each and every one of you. So, what did you guys do over the weekend? Relax? Did you go somewhere? Did you stay home all weekend? Did you have family over? Nieces, nephews, children, grandchildren? How was your weekend? That's great, Janice. Thank you. That's wonderful. So, listen, I'm not going to keep you all here long. I did pin the link in the chat. So, once I'm done talking, you can hit that link if you like. So, Blue says you had a great weekend. That's wonderful. Senna says it was nice and peaceful. That's always a good thing. Larry says it rained here in Alabama, so I slept for the weekend like I always do. Nothing like some good sleep when it's raining. And Blue says, yes, you are going to keep us here long. That's what Blue said. So, Blue, I'm going to start calling Blue Bossy Blue. I think that's going to be your new name, Blue. Bossy Blue. And don't anybody else call her that. I'm the only one that can call her Bossy Blue, okay? That's my new name for her. All right? So, if no one else has any comments, let me go ahead and get started with what I have to say. So, first of all, I have a question. You laughing, Janice? I have a question, and the question is, how many of you have children, or how many of you grew up with siblings? If you have children, put a one in the chat. And if you don't have children, but you grew up with siblings, put a two in the chat. So one for children and a two for no children, but you had siblings growing up. Okay, so Senna and Larry both said no children, but they grew up with siblings. Shanice is on that list too. Janice has children. Who that has children. And I don't see anybody else right now answering. So Shay says she has two children and she has two siblings. So putting you on the list with children, Shay. So the reason why I asked that is because even if you don't have children and you have siblings, as a parent, if someone says something about one of your children and not necessarily mentioning who that child was, generally you know who they're talking about. And as a sibling, if someone was talking about one of your parents' children, your parent knew. If it was you, your parent knew that it was you. No problem, Shay. Hey, Fawn. Thanks for joining. So, even identical twins are different. They may look the same, but they're still different. Generally speaking, for the most part, parents know their children. Hey, Wanda, thanks for joining. Thanks, Blue. Wow, Wanda, I didn't realize that you had 7 children. I would have had more if I could have afforded it. But children were then and they are even more now. So expensive. Hey, I said what I said. Thanks for joining. So, as I was saying, even identical twins are different. They may look the same, but they are still different. Generally speaking, for the most part, parents know their children. Just as earthly parents know their children, our Heavenly Father knows us. We all face things in life, and if we are honest with ourselves and others, we will admit that we've had moments in our lives when we felt like giving up. There's a time when I was sick, so sick that I wanted to give up. I began to understand why people who were in similar situations did not want to go on. At one point, I remember saying it out loud, even though I knew that there was someone else who was probably experiencing worse. All I could think about and feel was the pain that I was going through. But as I began to think about my family and especially my grandchildren, I began to gather strength and the will to press through. I had moments when I didn't feel like praying, but I knew that there were others praying on my behalf. This happened in 2008 when I was dealing with migraines and multiple doctors couldn't figure out what was going on and how to help me get rid of them. For almost 2 months, I had to hold on to someone else or grab a wall or rail to keep me from losing my balance. I was dizzy all the time and I was miserable. The only time that I really wasn't feeling like that was actually when I was sleeping. It's human nature to get to a point when you feel like the load is just too heavy. But Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 tells us to trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. God knows us. He knows how much we can bear. He allows us to go through things to make us better and not bitter. We may think that we know when enough is enough, but God really knows. There are times when we stay in situations too long. There are also times when we give up too soon, simply because we are leaning to our own understanding. When we acknowledge him in all of our ways and allow him to direct our paths, we are better off. Today's scripture verse comes from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Have you ever looked back over your life and remembered the times when you thought you wouldn't make it, yet you're still here? God can do anything but fail as long as we allow him to lead us. He knows what's best for us. Because life is always lifing, and we're either coming out of something, going through something, or about to go through something. If you are currently going through something and it seems to be too much, be encouraged. Don't throw in a towel. Maybe your situation is so heavy and so deep that you can't seem to hear from God. It may seem like instead of things getting better, they're getting worse. Just know that God still has his hands on you and that there are intercessors praying on your behalf. You may feel alone at times, but you are never alone. When you come out of this, you will be able to bless others through your testimony. With God, all things are possible. Continue to put him first and allow him to move on your behalf. He knows how much we can bear, and he won't put more on us than we can bear. As parents, for the most part, we know our children. As children of God, our Heavenly Father knows us even more. We may not always know when enough is enough. So the question was, when is enough enough? And the answer from me is when God says so. That's my spiel for today. And let me go through these comments to see if anyone has something to say while I was talking. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. So I see everybody speaking. So thanks, Blue. Yes, Wanda, children are very expensive, but I do wish I had at least 6. Speak, everybody speaking. Wanda said, thank you, Jesus, that her kids are all grown. Yeah, all of mine are grown too. Thank you, Blue. I appreciate you. You can be bossy at times, but you are also a blessing. So maybe I'll call you BB. So when you're being a blessing, you're BB. And when you're being bossy, you're BB as well. Everybody speaking. Thanks again, Blue. Amen, Senna. Okay, who that? Don't start. I know there were many times when somebody was praying for me. Thank you guys for participating in the chat. Amen, Senna. Wanda says, I am so thankful for the prayers of others, especially when I had the stroke. I honestly could not pray, but just repeat Jesus over and over. And look at you now. Thanks again, Blue. Thanks, Shanice. I have some great moderators. I appreciate each and every one of you. So while I'm reading the comments, like I said, I have the link pinned in the chat. So if anyone wants to join the panel, feel free to do so. Amen, Wanda. Okay, I see you, Real. Let me finish with the comments and I'll bring you up, okay? Don't go anywhere. Again, thank you all for participating in the chat. I appreciate all of you. And I'm thankful to God for each one of you. Amen, Janice. Well, Vaughn, I'll put it to you like this. I gave birth to three. Okay. Everybody knows that Shanice is my daughter with no stretch marks, no scars. That's my daughter. Vaughn, you still young. You can have more babies. Right, Shanice? Lou says stay focused. Thank you, Wanda. That's some good one too. Okay, let me go ahead and bring Real up before he leaves. Hey, Real.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. A little tired, but yeah, I was going to communicate and text with everybody, but the bottom of my screen on my other phone, it's like cracked right now. So until I
Oh,
get my other phone charged up, because now I can't text on it. You know, like the bottom of the screen, it just does gibberish. So I'm like,
oh,
man, and I don't want y'all thinking like, oh, what is he doing inside this chat, pressing all these
okay.
unknown letters? So
I know I didn't see you in the chat, but I saw you coming
yeah,
up on the panel.
well, I was typing, and as I was typing, it was just like letter. I don't know if y'all had that problem. But as soon as I get my other phone, it's somewhere inside the room. I don't know. So I
Is
just
it
can't.
this is off subject, but is that a iPhone? Hope it's not an iPhone.
One is an older iPhone, and the other one is an Android.
So which one is the problem with the problem?
The iPhone is cracked. It's cracked.
Oh, okay,
I can't
okay,
do nothing. And when
okay.
you get this crack on the screen, yeah.
You don't even need to further explain.
But but you asked me, so I got to
Yeah,
tell you.
yeah. I just
And I
wanted.
know watch us have some sort. Hey y'all, it's tea time. Oh yeah, and I just want to say, everything is all good, but I decree and declare that Vaughn has 500 more children. Say that.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just
Oh my
hey,
goodness.
hey everybody. Hey y'all. Blue Shay. I said what I said. Janice, Wanda, Hans. Who else on the mission? Shanice, Shay, Blue, Cinnabon. Yes. Well, of course, Alice. But yes, what was you saying now?
So no, I was just making a point about these iPhones for the iPhone folks in the chat, and I'm not going to call any names, but if someone yells "ouch," they'll know who they are.
I already know who got iPhones. Team Android right now. Screw team iPhones. Blue and on. I mean, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
All phones
Lou
are cracked.
said, "Don't ask him any questions."
Oh, here we
See,
go. Yeah, don't ask me any specific questions.
she's being Blue is being bossy.
It's funny because she's going off to like I guess another time where she asked me questions, and I guess when people ask me questions, I was a little befuddled because I had never been asked questions like this on YouTube before. I hadn't. Like nobody asked me questions except for where you from or what city you stay in or what state. Then that's
Mhm.
about it. You know.
Well, it's a new day.
Yeah.
So you have to expect that from, the people that you are dealing with.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just one of those kind of people where it's just like, you know what? I just let my actions or my attendance or my ways speak. Like that's just me. And if somebody asks me that, why are you so like kind of just chill or unbothered? I'm just like, I don't know, because I'm not like everybody else. Like I don't want to be one of those guys or people that's like, oh yeah, look at me and I'm the best and I'm top of the notch and stuff. It's just like, why not just let my ways speak or my video shorts speak to make people laugh, or just my show up or the people that I send, like, hey, let's all come over to this person's channel, let's go. That's just what I do. So because it's like those people who, I don't know, like, oh, I did this, 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 and I'm from here. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, I just think differently.
Oh, okay. Blue's in her feelings. So let's not talk about the phones anymore. Um,
Okay, we won't talk about
so,
any more janky iPhones. I'm sorry.
so let me add, she said, don't ask you a question, but I need to ask you this question to stay on topic. Have you ever had an experience in life where you felt like you couldn't take it anymore?
Well, I wouldn't be part of this realm if I said I didn't. But of course, everyone has gone through an experience like that. And I don't care what anybody tells you, where if anybody tells you that they haven't, oh, they felt like they haven't gone through and can't take it anymore, then you're fibbing, you're lying, you're talking out hot air. And I can tell you this from experience. Those can craft some of the best and strongest people to go through something and feel like you can't take it anymore. But guess what? You made it through somehow, some way, by some divine intervention or through God putting you through something, you made it out. And I think that people lessen themselves and scrutinize themselves to a point where they feel like they can't take too much. And if it's somebody like me who can easily see a situation or a person and what they're going through, and I can easily assess that that person is stronger than what they think by simply viewing that they're here, that they're helping other people, that they're motivating other people, that they've changed their ways, that they've changed, uh, 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 who they hang around, what they eat, what they consume, what they ingest inside their eyes, what kind of music that they listen to. It's like that's an achievement and accomplishment in itself, because listen to one genre of music all your life and let that build you up, and it's causing you to look at things a certain way. And if you leave that kind of lifestyle behind and bring yourself up to another level, you have now just defeated that and don't even realize it. But people go through this mindset of, I can't take this, I can't do this. And all while they're saying it, they're doing it and going
Yeah,
through it.
that's true.
So my thing to people is always look outside the box of what you're looking in. It's like, stop standing inside this circle of other people that you think you want to be standing in, and be inside that square. Like, don't be afraid to be a square. And if you're looking at it from an outside box and don't compare yourself to anybody else, that's the one thing that everybody does, which creates a self-defeatist attitude. We always compare ourselves to someone else, or we listen to a rebuttal of someone else that said, oh, well, I know somebody that did this, and I know somebody that went through. Well, you know what? Guess what? They're not me, and they're not you. We are our own individual people. Like, that's who we are. So the sooner that we stop comparing ourselves or allow someone's words to come at us to think that, oh, this person did it, but we don't know their setup in life. We don't know if they came with a silver spoon. We don't know if they was raised out of survival. So guess what? It makes it a little bit easier on them. You know what I mean? They were raised out of survival. So, okay, you might have two loving parents to show you all sorts of love, right? So now if you have things a little bit easier, when a trial and a tribulation comes your way, it's just going to be a little bit harder for you to handle versus if you were raised out of survival.
Right.
So that's that example of don't compare yourself to somebody else. Everything has its pros and its cons. And in that
Right.
sense, you can now not play the part or be the part. You are the part. And then you put yourself in the gear and then keep it going. That's just how you got to look at it. Like once you see it that way, it's like, you know what? Things become a little bit easier. Why did I go through this? Oh, now there's about another 1,000 women or men that have gone through this and I've achieved something out of this. So now guess what? I can now teach someone else a possible way of getting through that maze of through that puzzle. And it's not to tell somebody what to do, but it's to give them pointers and a lesson plan on how to possibly circumnavigate that particular trial that they're going to be going through. Like, it just is what it is.
Right. Yeah, because I believe that things that we go through are never really about us. It's about the next person.
Yeah, it's like everything that we've gone through. Guess what? It's already been gone through by people of the past, by our ancestors, by so many different people. But it's a new experience for us. So it's the same scenario, but a new experience. And this is why we can get wise counsel from other people, or we can look at stories of the scriptures and use that in comparison with us as a stepping stone, but not as comparison, but as a, you know what? There's different ways to win a race, but these two are written down. So let me see if I could try to apply this knowledge, applied knowledge, to see if this can help me inside my situation instead of me trying to do it myself. This is what one of God's chosen people have gone through. So now that's another way of letting God take control because you're following something that has been written down in history out of the Bible. Or let him send his spirits and encamping angels because guess what? He and his whole holy force, they know best.
Right. That's true.
You know, and you know, he might give us a little leeway just to see what we gonna do. But we gotta know when to stop the brakes and let him take over because he does give us a certain amount of free will to see what we're gonna do. You know, it's all in if you are his child or if you are a favorite or if you're chosen. It's like whatever your goal or whatever your particular spiel is going to be inside this realm. Once you figure that out, it's like, okay, is it going to be predestined or is it going to be a free will? Because we were all created for his pleasure and enjoyment. That means that there's something that we all have to do or all been chosen to do. We all have some sort of skill or talking point or nurturing point or caring point or to rear children or to write a book or to cook food or to be an aggressive voice to help somebody out of a situation. It's like everybody has their part. Nobody's less or more. You are your part. Except for if you're eating like a chocolate peanut butter and grape Reese's cup, then I don't know what that is, but everybody has their part.
You laughing at the chat.
No, I'm making fun of Blue where she ate her great peanut butter Reese's Pieces thing, and her face, it was like, yeah. I'm sorry, no, because I read the chat and it just sparked my mind about that subject. She said, "Shut up,"
She said,
but
"Shut
yeah,
up." She said it
excuse
all
me.
caps, so you know she's yelling.
I know, right? Well, shut don't go up. It only goes down. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. But back to the subject. Oops.
She said, "This is my live and not hers." So, in other words, she wants you to keep her name out of your mouth. I think that's what she's trying to say.
I
I,
mean,
I don't
look,
want to, speak for her.
I, I'm just going off the chat. They're like, yes, this is definitely your channel. But it's funny how we can be having a discussion up here, but then there's like another micro discussion happening inside the chat. So then I tap inside the chat, and then it's like, "What you talking about, boy?" I'm like, "I'm talking about what y'all talk about." It's like y'all having another micro universe conversation, so I'm just adding it in. But back to the subject.
Yeah, back to the subject. But yeah, I believe now I can't say with 100% assurity that everybody has had the experience of wanting to give up because I don't know everybody. So, I can't really say that, but I do believe that if not everybody, most people do have those experiences in life. Hey, I said what I said.
I mean, but look at it like this, right? I'm about to expand on it even more so you can get a gist of what I'm saying. So it not only extends to a situation that you might be in, but you might feel like giving up on a situation, whether it be on a test, a family member, a friend, a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, life, giving up on a diet, giving up on training and working out, giving up on a project, giving up on, oh, I've been on this streak and I've been doing this, doing these videos and stuff, and then I stopped. So that's what I mean by everybody has experienced some sort of aspect of I
Okay.
can't take this anymore. Yeah.
Okay. I got you. Hey, I said what I said. Do you have something to say, sis?
Hey, Alice. Hey, Rio.
What's going on?
Hey, Rio. I just wanted to come up and Rio just really speaking some real truth, and you're making me actually look at it a different way, Rio. I never, thought about it like the way that you just put it. And not the second comment that, on the second comment before you made everybody pay attention in the chat. Um, it was the first time when the first comments that you were making. And so
Okay.
I never thought about it like that. Um, that other people went through this before and it's just, all happening again. Because a lot of times when you're going through a situation, you don't think of other people, right? You're only really kind of thinking about yourself. And a lot of times, before you realize that you have help up above, it's all about me, 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 me. Why am I going through this? What is going on? You're really trying to assess the situation and you're trying to figure out why is everything happening. And maybe not so much, everybody else, but that's the way that I look at it. And that's what happened for me whenever I go through a difficult time. Um, the first thing I think about is why is this happening to me? You know, I'm always assessing that. Like, why is this happening? Why do I have to go through this? It's always kind of with me, it's always a pity party first. Uh,
Hmm.
and then after I finish with my pity party, then I go into action, right? And I start trying to um, assess the situation, and then I try to execute a plan. And no matter how many times I go through whatever, it's always in that order. It's like I never can just get a situation and not gnaw on it and chew on it and have a self pity party first and
Hmm.
what to do. Um, Now, the last time I went through a horrific situation, or let me just put it like this. Now, it wasn't so much horrific for me, but it was with one of my siblings, and I just say a scary situation, right, on a matter of life and unalivement. And so, I was able to get through it, and I didn't have the pity party as long. So maybe I'm growing a little bit as far as that goes, especially when I have a problem that arise. But I'm such a fixer when it comes to problems. I'm that type of person. I can't have a problem and not try to fix it. That's what my problem is. I want to fix everything, and I had to learn, by experience that I can't fix everything. I don't have all that power in my hand, so I had to relinquish some of that power and stop thinking that way all the time. And now people think that I'm kind of, weird, because when they tell me a problem now, I don't try to fix it. I just say, "Oh, okay." And they're not used to that from me. They're used to me to say, "Okay, well, we need to," they're used to me giving them some options, and let's figure out how we're gonna get this done. And I just stopped doing that altogether unless I'm directly asked, you know. And I think I've stated that before. I've kind of got out of everybody's business and stopped trying to tell everybody what to do and just make sure I mind my own business.
That reminds me of Deborah. She was a great strategist and a great general,
Mhm.
for like Israel, and she was always, you know, tasked with that and knowing how to do certain situations and everything. And that's one reason why God chose her, because there was no man in the land that would be able to do it. But I get what you're saying. So now it's like when you go and do like a repetitive action so much, and you know that you can fix certain situations by giving people advice, what ends up happening is sometimes it becomes so easy, like, okay, this situation, and it could come off to people like, oh, you're telling me what to do, you're being bossy, you're
Mhm.
being this, you're
Yeah,
being that. And
exactly.
it's like you're not meaning to come off that way, but if you dealt with so many situations hundreds if not thousands of times, it becomes a second nature. And when that nature comes out as like, okay, this is normal to me, other people are like, okay, you're relaying this message to me in such a smooth but assertive, way. I'm taking it as being you're being bossy. You're
Mhm.
you're you're controlling me. You're this and that. And it's like, no, I've been there, done that, and I'm just giving you my expertise on it. So it's all in how, you know, people can take it. And then that's when you come with the, oh, you know what? Well, I apologize and I'm sorry that you felt that way, but I didn't mean it that way. You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah, and I've gotten the name in my immediate family, and when I say immediate, meaning my sisters and brother, everybody in the family labeled me as being bossy, and it's not about being bossy. It's about what you said. Been there, done that. Graduated, got a hat, t-shirt, and a certificate. So I just don't want you to have to go through it. But when try to give your experiences to some people, especially if they already have a chip on their shoulder about the way they feel about you anyway, then yeah, it can come off as you trying to tell them what to do, or you're just trying to be bossy. And it also depends on the status that you have in your family, i.e., especially with your kids. Your kids only want so much instruction from you. And like I've always said this, it's a hard bridge to cross over. For me, it was a hard bridge for me to cross over from them being children into at adulthood, because I don't know how other mothers feel, but as for me, they're always going to be my kids, and they're always coming to me with certain situations to make me always feel like I'm their mom, but yet and still they want me to treat them like adults, but a lot of times they're not acting like adults, right? And so it's like, well, if you want to be fully grown and you want me to look at you as a full grown adult, then I need you to make adult decisions. And
Major
so
Miller, drive safely. Go ahead. I'm sorry
it's okay.
to
And
interrupt
so
you.
that's sometimes that's where the crossroad come in at. And my son, he's the baby of the family. And when I say the baby, he's my baby, but I don't have but two kids, but he is the baby. and he's the baby as far as the nieces and nephews, and he's the baby when it comes to grandchildren. He's like the last one, and so everybody have always treated him like the baby, and so he had to make a PSA to the family and let them know, well, y'all, yeah, I'm the baby, but I'm no longer a kid, and y'all need to stop treating me like one. And the same thing happened with my little sister. It's sometimes it's like the baby want to act like a baby when it's convenient for them, but then also too they want you to treat them accordingly to their age or whatever, even though they still do baby stuff. They still want you to know that they're no longer the baby. They are the baby, but they're grown or what have you. So I just said all of that to say this. Sometimes, like I said, your opinion, should be kept to yourself. I had to learn that the hard way. And I also had to learn, not to solicit information unless people ask for it. And I'm still struggling with that, especially like when you said, when somebody's going through something, you've already been there and done that. It's very hard for me not to tell them, but I'm holding back and I'm learning how to do that. But then on the other end, I also feel like a lot of times, like Alice said, sometimes you feel like you want to give up, and sometimes you feel like your problems are too much, and you don't know if you're going to make it through tomorrow, but you're still here, and you made it through because God He never put on more than you can bear. You may not feel like you can bear it, but He know exactly how much you can bear. Even though you don't feel that way, He know how strong and He know your strength. And a lot of times I feel like He take us through things, like you said earlier. Sometimes it's just a test, and sometimes it's just to prepare you for something bigger coming your way. So when something else hits you, you know how to handle it.
Yes, agreed. And I was looking at what Blue said. So she said, so telling people the truth is just our truth for our circumstances and not the truth for everything and everyone. And I can totally agree with that. So I guess when you have, I guess, been in certain situations and worked certain things and done certain things and seen how things work and been through psychological operations, and this is for this side of the country and this is for this, and seen this for okay, the data when you've worked at certain places for that, it can come off as, okay, now that we know situations that happen inside the Midwest or situations that have happened in the Northeast territory of this country or the crime for this thing. And when you've been around so many people and have studied these situations, it can come. So now we know a little bit more like, okay, this can work best for that situation. But yes, Blue does have a point and she makes total sense on that. But I guess with certain people, they can input life experiences plus with data situations that they've been encountered with and given, where they can give even more of an output for a situation that could possibly work. So I should have explained myself better. So it's not an end all be all answer, but it's like a best given answer for the objective at hand. So my apologies on that. Y'all can continue.
Okay, we accept your apology.
And
I
I
wanted
didn't know
to,
you needed to apologize. So okay.
right.
No, because you know
I'm
what
kind of
Blue did.
confused.
No, I saw what Blue, right? Because you know what Blue, sometimes like what I do is I might go off on a tangent with what I say, but I have
Okay.
to put a cap on it and make sure that I explain it in all situations where everybody, so she's kind of like that buffer, that limiter for me, like, okay, real, you said that, but sure that it fits for everybody's situation, or tone it down because what you say might not be for everyone, or explaining it where it can be digested well. You know what I mean? Like if that makes any sense. So I get what she means by what she said, where everything ain't for everybody. Your truth is your truth. It's not everybody's truth.
Yeah. She said that was just her opinion. It wasn't directed towards you.
Oh yeah, right, correct. I just like to answer everybody's opinion or sentence, or just for them
How can
to.
you answer somebody's opinion? Is
You
there?
can
I mean, when it's an
because
opinion, it can't be right or wrong. Real. You see,
because
now you're
every
acting like me.
be no because no
Let
everybody
me go
guess
back on
what
mute.
Huh? Yeah, he
every
acting
Let me
like
go back
me. Yeah,
on
he's
mute.
trying
no
to.
no no no
Yeah, he's
no
trying to handle all problems. Now he
no
can't do that. Putting an opinion, just an opinion, real, and just
but
leave it
guess
at
what,
that.
right? 85 to 90% of the time, everybody's opinion that they put forward is secretly or subconsciously their reality. So it's a fact. And that's why I can agree with a lot of people because some people like will say, no, this is an orange. No, well, it's a fruit. Well, no, these are benevolent beings. No, it's angels. It's like your opinion of it is your perspective of your reality on it. So in actuality, everybody's kind of correct. It's just the way that you see it.
Kinda correct.
Kind of correct. It just is. Like, some people will say, those are aliens right there. But then other people will be like, no, those are angels. Those are God's angel force and angels are demons. And this person might say, oh, I saw a ferocious animal. But somebody else like, well, I just saw a bear. It's just like it's how you perceive things. And that's just your opinion of it.
Yeah. Okay, blue. I mean, real.
Yeah,
But anyway,
yeah, 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 yeah. Listen,
let me tell you something. Listen, Linda, don't take us
okay.
all around the world.
I see you, Janice. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Janice.
Janice.
I know it's your opinion that it's Janice, but her real name is Janice. It's the way Alice
Janice.
said.
I'm
Janice.
all on mute to talk about her name is Janice.
I can feel me standing next to someone and go through something bad, but our outcome will be totally different depending on who's telling the story. Exactly, because there's always three sides to a story. There's A,
Right.
B, and then truth.
You don't have to worry about it, Alice. I got you.
Thank you.
You got me in
I
real
was
up
sure
here.
yelling it.
Yeah, you got me in real up here, so we got it. We
Hmm.
gonna hand. I'm gonna handle real. He
I
real
know.
real,
I see
and I'm
you.
real
See,
real, and so
I
we
see.
gonna, huh?
I said,
But it's no
oh yeah.
it's no animosity or anything because I like your opinions and I like your I like it when you speak. I really do. Um, and you have a lot of wisdom.
I mean, I guess I just look at it as I have put my mind to listen to not only men but to women and to come to conclusions because I don't like men will have an opinion and women will have an opinion, but then now I started looking at things like, okay, y- both sides matter, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, and what kind of status you have. It's like anybody can be a leader. Anybody can be a helper, a motivator, and to put a label on something where only this person could do or only that person can do it. It's like no, it's who's best fitted to sit to who's best suited to perform that job. Like if you go to this side of town and we need somebody to run this message over, okay, all these men over here been sitting around smoking and drinking and smoking their cigars and they're all full. But now this woman right here, she's able to run this message over to get this message and deliver something important. Same thing. Or these women are all pregnant, but this man, he's able to run over it like it's whoever's suitable for that job.
So now you're spilling a little tea. So do men think women don't have a great opinion or something?
Yeah, some do. Some do. Like those see, men are supposed to fit inside their purpose. 100% agreed. But there's a cutoff point when it turns into toxic masculinity where it's like, okay, I know everything I say is right, everything I say and do is correct, and you're supposed to submit to me and this and that. And it's just like, okay, well, I'm supposed to submit to you, but you can't teach me anything that I just learned because I went to college for this. I went to this institution to learn this thing about God, and I went to this specific place to learn how to care for other people to teach me how to be a nurse. You didn't prepare me. You didn't teach me none of this stuff. Society taught me this stuff, but yet I'm supposed to submit to you Make sure your qualifications are right with your spirit and with God, and then I can submit to you. And then people take it further than that. Well, I'm just a man, submit to me, or I'm a woman, just to submit to me. There's certain qualifications that require submitting to, and to each their own. You might not have such qualifications to, okay, I only want this, this, and this, and this. Okay, good. I love you. I like you. I'm willing to submit to that. It's all in what, you know, just because you're said person doesn't mean, oh, you submit to me. Okay, you didn't did this, your hair is bad, you're all over the place, and you got a drinking problem, and you got all these women from your past still inside your life, blah blah blah, but I'm supposed to submit to you, and this is causing a problem. But I'm a man that knows the word of God, and it says to this, and then now guess what? It's just like you're running yourself ragged and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, no, fix those issues and those problems first. And guess what? We both become one in Christ, and we submit to each other, because the woman can still give wise counsel to a man, as per Priscilla did in the Old Testament. She saw that he was a good man of God, but she can teach him, and this is just the scripture as it is. She taught him how to serve God better. And when I saw things like that, I'm like, you know what? If people start listening to one another versus just, you're supposed to listen to me, I have this title, and I'm going to do what I want to do anyway. And because I have this title, I'm a man or I'm a preacher, you're just supposed to listen to me and forgive me. Or I'm a woman, and just because it says I have your baby, you're supposed to listen to me. It's just like, no, 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 no. Let's come to common ground and let's both build. And once we both have an understanding, it can be just like that. It can become easy peasy. Yes, we can always still learn more. And that's called humility. That's why people like, oh, why are you doing that? I listen to what y'all say. And this is why I try to open up people's eyes to, don't be so harsh on men. Don't be so harsh on women. They still can have a piece of wisdom that you don't know. Like, babe, I see you smoking too many cigarettes. I see you doing to this. Oh, I think you need to stop because I see that your health is going. No, I'm the man. You listen to me. But babes, the nurturing side of me is coming through, and I see that it's not too good. Something's coming through me where I notice that you're breathing in because you're smoking too much, or you're doing this and that, or you're gambling too much of your money away, honey, and just because you're the man of the house, but you're blowing all of our life savings. Maybe you need to listen to me. Like it's like a two-part thing, you know.
Are you coming from a preacher standpoint or just an everyday normal man?
Any preacher, regular man, a man that has a good job, a woman that has a good job, a man that makes six figures, or a preacher that don't make six figures, but it's just like, okay, you have to listen to me because I'm this. It's any point, like just because a man can make 6 or 7 figures, right? That
Hmm.
don't mean that you can sit there and submit yourself to him, because it's like, what qualifications do you have? Because what if that man's is like an abuser? Like, I don't want to trigger anybody, but what if he, or a narcissist, or this and that? We kind of got to know what we're getting ourselves into before we submit to certain things. Like, like, just because I fit the ideal of what society says is a man or a woman, it's like we got to stop doing that. And we got to go where our heart truly leads us. Like, you know what? This person might not have as much as this, but this person, they are working, they are doing something. They make me laugh. They know how to do this, they know how to cook. But this man, okay, he can treat me good, he could do this, but they don't listen. They don't do this. They don't take accountability. They're always blaming this and that. It's just like, people don't take accountability. They just don't.
Okay, I got you.
Well,
Well, I was just wondering because of the way that you were speaking, and you kind of gave me that impression. That's what men think of women. So
Well, yeah, I mean, some, not all, but that's just what, like, come on now, like,
Well,
y'all are
nothing
not,
is all, you know, not
not
all,
all, but I
but
mean, I know
a
that y'all
good
have,
percentage, you know, a
yeah, a
good
percentage. Y'all
percentage.
have
Yeah.
came across that because that's just what some men just do inside society. It's just like, or that's what they portray. And then behind the door is just like they're wearing diapers, getting a bottle fed by their wife at nighttime. Who knows? Like, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Okay.
just know there's a good percentage that
Mm-hmm. Oh
act
yes,
like
I
that.
know. Trust me, I know.
And then it's like if you don't obey, the first thing you want to do is just put their hands on you or something like that. Look, listen, I've seen a lot of stuff and I've had to step into for a lot of things. And even, you
Yeah,
know,
I don't know about nothing. I don't know about that part of it, but I just because nobody has been brave enough to try to go that route with me. Um, but at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, and yeah, it's a lot of men prop the chest out, but in their defense, it's a lot of women that allow them to do it. You know, and so sometimes it's like when we're out in public, like you said, it needs to look a certain way. You know, and then when we go home, we can relax and it can be what it is. But I understand what you're saying though, because I see it a lot and I've seen it in the past and still see it today. So I understand what you're saying.
yeah. And when people stop that persona, that can make things that much easier. It's like if people actually read the scriptures and read what it says, it's like once we all become brothers and sisters, once you get your Christ consciousness, we both you both become one in Christ. We're all the body. So it's just like that's not saying, oh, we're only going to give a man Christ consciousness but not a woman, or we're only going to give the woman Christ consciousness but not the man. It's just like whatever your creativity part that God has already put inside you, if that's what you're going to excel in, that's what you're going to excel in.
Well,
And then
I know in a lot of faiths though, okay, or denominations, not say faiths, but denominations, a lot of different denominations. You're absolutely right. Women are not recognized to be as important, um, to some denominations. They have their place in the church or what have you. So it all depends on what they believe in and how they were taught and what the rules and regulations of the denomination is. So I absolutely agree with you on that also.
yeah, yeah, and it's okay. But I just, like I said, I know people or men or women who know the word better and who actually really live for God. And then there could be this person who's, okay, I'm speaking for this nation or speaking for this pulpit, and it's like they could care anything less. And when I say it's plentiful and bountiful, like they could care less about what they're teaching the people. They could care less about really being for God. It's like money for them. Like they really don't care. Like they don't care. And then it comes out like, oh, they were doing this inside the church or doing that, or the sister was doing this, or the brother's doing that. Like I said, I don't adhere to none of that, but I know what I've seen and I know what I've encountered and I know what I had to be a mediator on and through certain systems where people have sued and this and that, where we had to have mock sessions and see what the outcome was going to be. And we have been, so I've seen so many of these things where it's like a lot of it is just a show. And it's like, like, okay, if we were all going to go to a jury, we want you to people to, like if it's like a paid thing where it's like, okay, we want to see what this outcome's going to be. And once I started seeing so much of this stuff and everything's kind of like a stage, I'm like, why can't people just let everything what it be and stop trying
But
to
because it's the teachings, though, it's the teachings, and like I said, it's the traditions, the teaching, and what they believe, and so it's like so many other things. We've always done it this way, so it must be right, whether it's right or wrong. You know what I mean?
And see, I agree with you, but when we're in this particular system of things where everything in so many cultures are mixed in all together here inside the United States, we have so many different cultures, so many different things where so many people do things differently. But guess what? You come here, it's like anything goes. So it's like such a mixed pot where that's why I mean I've seen so many different things. You know, like I've
Yeah,
seen
I understand. Hey, Vaughn, how you doing?
Hey, Vaughn, you're on mute.
she's like, let me make sure he stopped yapping. I'm putting myself on mute.
Nobody said that, real. We like to hear you talk.
No, I know. I just like to add a little
Oh,
humor.
she might have had. Hold up.
Yeah, she may have stepped away or something. Well, now she's on here twice.
But it's based
Vaughn, can you
on
hear us now?
evidence.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Yeah.
can.
Okay. All right. My bad. I'm walking. I just wanted to come up here and say, um, I was listening to Real, and he was talking about men and women and all this submission and stuff. And all I got to say is, I'm sick of these men. Every time a woman, you know, um, shows that she can be strong or she is strong, and she ain't no dummy or nothing. Men want to get all intimidated, and and if you ask me, see, here's the thing, because I'm trying to be cool, y'all. I'm trying to be real cool, because I'm glad, y'all was talking, because when I first got up here, I was all, angry. But listen,
Vaughn,
it's
they say
like,
you sound low.
wait, y'all can't hear me? Oh, it's probably a good
Well,
thing
we
y'all
can
can
hear
hear me.
you,
Hold
but
on,
I
you
hear
Yeah.
kind of
you.
sound far away.
hold on. I'm walking. Hold on.
Blue stupid. Whatever Real was talking about.
Okay, this might be better. Can y'all hear me now? Hello?
I hear you. It's about the same, but I hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna come back.
Okay.
Okay. And see, I agree with what Blue said, and that was the point I was trying to get at. She said, but some people think what they learned is the only answer. And that's the point I was trying to make. It's like just because you learn something and you've been told that that's like, oh, well, my family does it this way. But then if you're inside a different region, it's like that might not be the way and that might not work. Like we live in a whole different day and age now where it's like teenagers, women, black women, white women, anybody is are millionaires now. It's like who gonna submit to who now? Because it was always,
Well,
you know.
I just feel okay, because let me just say this. Um, God is, you know, God is to you, God is one thing, and to someone else, he may, represent, he may represent to someone else a different way, right? And so who's to say who's right or wrong about any of it, right? And
Mhm.
so that's why the Bible tells us to study to show thyself approval. And that way we don't have to worry about if the tradition is correct or if the teaching is correct or even if it's what the pastor is saying, a preacher or a minister or whoever it is you're listening to is correct. Because if you learn and get your own, if you study and get your own understanding, you know, about the Bible and about how things should go, then it doesn't matter what nobody say or how they do what they do, as long as you know for yourself, right? So when
Mhm.
once you know something for yourself, it's, I don't know about y'all, but once I learn it and I know it for me and I know what holds to be true for me, then that's what I roll with.
Yes.
I don't care what you say. I don't care how you do it. Because for me in my house, this how we gonna do it. Okay, because this is the way that I understand it. This is the way that I, you know, interpret it when I
Hey,
read it
Cheryl.
or what have you. And so I'm gonna go by my own understanding and I'm gonna go by my own teaching. And it's not to say that I'm here to buck a system or what have you. And I've heard preachers um, speak the word and give a whole total wrong, in my opinion, a wrong understanding of what they're trying to preach. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Inter In my opinion, interpret the word the wrong way, interpret the story the wrong way, put their own spin on it, and expect you to believe it. But if
Exactly.
but if you don't read the Bible for yourself, you don't study it for yourself, then you have no choice but to go with what they say, because you don't know. And you don't know until you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why I feel like a lot of people do fall in that trap of listening to other people and
Amen.
going by with what other people say, and sometimes possibly may find themselves going to hell because they're following the wrong person. So you're absolutely right. You got to know who you're following. You got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to know what the truth is for yourself. And even you can be wrong, but you need to do as much research as you can to try to get the right answer or what have you. And definitely, if it don't feel right, then maybe 9 times out of 10 it's probably not right. And if somebody tell
Yes.
you something and it doesn't it don't vibe with what you think it
Hey,
is,
Charlie's Angel.
then just do a little bit more research on it and try to figure out, and it's okay to ask more than one person. I tell people on my channel all the time, especially when I'm talking about the medical field, it's okay to get more than one opinion. And that applies to anything that goes on in your life. If you're unsure about something, or somebody tell you something and you're uncomfortable with it and you wrestle with it, and it just don't seem quite right, then what's wrong with asking somebody else? What's wrong with getting a second opinion? Or what's wrong with doing a little bit more research or do a little bit more digging? Because only you're the one who's going to have to answer to God, not everybody else. They have to answer to him in their way, and you got to answer to him in your way. So you better make sure you're getting the right answer, especially when you're trying to feed the flock, or when you're trying to get somebody to come to the cloth. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be, in my opinion, it's your responsibility to make sure you're telling them the right thing and not blatantly tell somebody the wrong thing just to appease you, appease your agenda.
Right. Right.
And let
But
me
see,
and let
yeah.
me be quiet because I'm going too far now.
No, no, no. I agree with it, but like a lot of the stuff that I do say is straight from scripture or the Old Testament. Like I know, like some people don't like the part of, oh well, who's ever approved, whether it could be a man or a woman. But those stories that I base it off of, like whether it be like Rebecca or Deborah, if there is nobody in the land or in that part who cannot do God's will, he will find someone who is approved. Like like that's what he
Right.
does. So like that's when he found Deborah. Like if a woman was to do that now, and I'm gonna lead this and go against these men and fight this just to pull our people back out of bondage or fight against this evil, they would look at them like crazy. Well, it's like, okay, well, bring that up with God when he chose these specific women of the Old
Hmm.
Testament. Go look up Rebecca.
Right.
Go look up, Priscilla. Go look up Deborah. And then people like they just skip over these stories. And I'm like,
Right.
this is from scripture of what I'm talking about. Just people just
Exactly. And
y-
most
y- yeah,
important, and the most important thing you can do, because you hear people say, well, all I can do is pray. Well, that's the first thing you ought to do is pray and get in contact with
exactly.
God. Because if it's something that you don't understand, ask God to give you understanding. He'll give it to you. You might not like the answer, but he'll definitely give you understanding if
You
you
better
seek it.
say that.
Yeah. Or just like with like when a lot of truth comes out, people gonna have a lot of their feathers ruffled. Like, like there's one thing that people don't like to talk about, but this is something that we know about across the nations and being inside the service. And this is like when people spoke in tongues. There's another part of speaking in tongues, right? And this is why when people get knocked upside their head or get into accidents, they start speaking a different language.
Hmm.
Speaking in tongues over the old Red Sea and the old lines of trade when we used to trade with other nations, something would come over somebody and you would start speaking in tongues. And the old tongues would be, you would start speaking in Aramaic, you would start speaking in Greek, you would start speaking in Asia, you would start speaking in Sanskrit, you would start speaking in Moorish. you would speak of another native tongue, and that was speaking in tongues. And you would have to have somebody also interpret that tongue of what they were speaking. So it would just come over you. That's another part of the tongues. But for some odd reason, it's not brought up. It is not brought up. And yes, that's what used to happen. But because people hear it in one way, they think that that's the only way. And it's like, well, like, biblically speaking, that's what happens. People would speak in a different native tongue. Like, that's why when people get into accidents, they all of a sudden start speaking French, start speaking
Well,
Cantonese Mandarin. It's just like,
well, that's why my motto
That's
is
weird.
always where there's a
yeah.
will, there's a way. And hey, Vaughn, you back with us? What you got to say?
Yeah, I'm back. I was coming back to say, cause cause y'all, I'm walking, but I'm gonna be quick. But listen, when Real said, these men and they always want somebody to submit to them. Sirs, ladies, and gentlemen, sirs, men, y'all be the problem in society today. Okay, y'all was the problem back then too, but we couldn't tell y'all that. But my thing is this: it's like when a woman, because this whole masculine and feminine, and you know, if we gonna talk, take it to the church house. If you're a strong, confident woman, you a Jezebel, and you a witch and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of these men be blocking their own blessings, being in their own way, trying to knock, their woman down, make her feel like, she ain't worth nothing, or she need to sit down somewhere. And y'all be wondering why, stuff don't be going right in your life because you think you a man and you got all the answers. When God sent you a woman, who know a little something. You know what I'm saying? But no, because you want to be, the head dude in charge. I ain't gonna cuss because this was Alice live. You want to be the head dude in charge and step on everything around you, and can't nobody tell you nothing, to the point where the woman, that's in your life, now you want to feel some type of way and try to blame everything on her, when it's you, because you think you the one, like what I was talking about with Mr. Lounge, oh, submission and dominion, it's all the same. No, it's not. When a woman submits to you, it's because she respects you. If you have dominion over a woman, if you ask me, that means you control her. That means, she don't love herself enough to say, you know what, this man ain't my father, he's my husband. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I came to say, y'all. So these guys be thinking, oh yeah, I got all the answers, and this I'm gonna get this woman, and that's a big dog, and I'm not afraid of big dogs, but that's too big for me. But yeah, that's all I wanted to come up. Real, I agree with you. It be these men, okay, and they always want to call, somebody out their name. Now I ain't talking about, a cuss word. Like I said, Jezebels and witches, and you masculine. You think you a man, and it's like no,
You're
I just
right
have
about that, Vaughn. You're right
yeah.
about that.
Exactly. But see, that's another basis of what I'm trying to talk about. If these men, right? I'm not taking any sides because there's women out there, they're plain disgusting too. But if men are growing up, right, and they're dating these women, and we all know how it is in high school and college, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and this is what I'm like, yo, this has got to stop. But they get with these females, and it's just like, I don't really want you. I'm gonna tell you what you want to hear just so I could get your draws. Enough is enough. And then you keep doing this. Now, then a woman is like, oh, I can't find a reasonable man to date me because all they want to do is do this, smash all this inside this area. Okay, I'm going to take it upon. Be safe. I'm going to take it upon myself to now get a job, get my own crib, get my own stuff, do this, do that. Now I got to fend myself against society because now I wanted to submit myself to this man, but guess what? He had a wife, he had a hidden family, he had a double life. So now this woman got to assume that role. Now guess what? She had a baby by. This is just a scenario, y'all. Oh, I had a baby by this guy. Now he wanted to leave and play games. That ain't my kid. I see that all the time. Then now they want to go back out inside the street, play around. Now that woman has to assume both roles. Now she got to get a job. She got to support herself, support that kid. She thought this was the man of her dreams or the man of God. Now she has to learn to survive. Now when she grows older, now, oh, you're manly, you're aggressive, but she was forced to be that way because now, oh, she didn't have a dad to teach her certain things, or these men played her. Now I have to climb up this ladder by myself because I wanted to submit to a guy, but they played games. Like I've seen it so much. And then now these guys get older and it's like, well, I want a good woman, but
They bitter.
yeah, like you
They're
didn't.
all bitter, and
Everybody's bitter.
they all
Yes,
masculine, and they all
But
want to
it's
be in
all their
charge.
fault though, and they
but
never
that's
want
what
to
I'm
take
trying to say.
accountability. They never want to take accountability, you know. And that's what
For
I've
old
learned about
people.
men, you know, at being 31. You know, that y'all don't know how to take a no. My bad, real. My bad. See,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
go
drop
ahead.
down, y'all. No,
No, no,
cause
no, go ahead. No, you're right. They don't know how to say
no,
no. It's
cause
not all
men
men,
don't
but
know
it's
how to take accountability.
Won't
And
So I'm
take.
sorry, Yvonne, but how can we relate this to the subject of when is enough enough?
enough is enough
enough
when
is enough
they take
when they,
accountability
yeah.
and,
Thank
and
you.
say,
Help me out, real.
I have helped put this into action. It's like I've played women all inside my 20s and my 30s. And I'm not talking about me, but me and all my friends, we go to these bars, we go to these clubs, and we feed these women sweet nothings. And I've played all these women and destroyed mind and their self-worth. I've told them they ain't nothing. You ain't gonna be nothing without me, blah, blah, blah. Or I became a pimp and now I'm going
Enough
after
is enough of that.
these poor
Enough.
women or these
Yes.
homeless women or these girls who don't have a dad. I'm going to these broken homes. I'm picking up 20 and 30 girls and now I became their pimp and taught them this way. Now I done got inside my 30s or 40s, 50s. I done found God and now these women who've destroyed their minds, now it's, oh, these women ain't nothing. And then it's like, I've seen this in so many different like places and states. It's just, I'm a well-traveled man. So I've seen so much of this, like so much, like I've traveled, I'm part of a military family. I've seen so much. I've seen it. I've seen it. And it's like, we can only say, oh, well, that doesn't happen. And it's like, well, if you've only lived in one state and inside one little area, you're going to think that that's not. So I've seen it enough to, you know what, men, I got to speak up with my brothers because y'all, how
That's
about
right, real.
we stop doing this to the women, creating the women to be this way. And instead of, okay, or this dude I know, he got like so many dudes I know, you got 4 or 5 kids, but you're not inside your kid's life. And it's like, how are you going to teach your daughters? Now they're going to go astray and you're doing all this to these women. What you think that next man going to do to your daughters when you grow up? Like you're not teaching her nothing. So
It
I'm
is
like,
time for men and women, because it's not just men, y'all. It's women
it's
too.
women too. Like,
I'm
let's
not gonna
stop
turn
this
this into a we hate men panel.
generational curse. Like
But
it's a
yes,
generational
it's
curse.
time to take
So enough is,
accountability for your own actions. It is time. It
yes.
is not. It no.
And,
We're tired. Everybody's tired of each other. We're all tired of human beings who lack accountability. We're tired. It
and
is.
that's what pertains
It
to
is
enough is enough.
emotional and mental abuse when you
Yes.
and things that you could have done better. You know what I'm saying? Just take accountability. You know, 2025, okay, is the year of accountability. It's no longer everybody else's fault. It's not your mama's fault. It's not your granny's fault. It's not what you say real generational curses. It's time to get out of that because nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares. Well,
Exactly.
we care, but when we see that you're just not accountable at all, it's like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah, I know so many men that who were living inside the Pacific area. Again, is this psychological thing that we had to go through and read and up on the area. Like I said, this is what I was taking up my little college courses, all this stuff, trying to get my hours in. And we saw all these scenarios, and then I was personally out in the field, and then I was with my classmates, I was with my friends, I was with all these people, I was in the club scene, I was in this, and I would take notes, and I would see this stuff,
Hey,
and then
Gertrude.
there would be these all these men that, okay, for a decade you helped to create this madness, and then now it's okay, a decade or 15 years later, all these women, they ain't nothing, they're disgusting, they're a whole, and it's like, but you were part of that problem that created these women in this particular city or this county, like all these men, because it was this whole notion of bros before hoes and all women ain't nothing, and it's just like, enough is enough. Like, enough is enough. Like, oh, these women, these 304s, okay, ask them what's the issue. And I go to these women, I ask them, and it's always the same thing. It's always like a daddy issue. My daddy wasn't there, or this and that, or he treated me like crap, and now I'm trying to find love, and now I couldn't, so I just did things my own way. And it's like, oh, you were a product of your environment, and you were created by this man not being inside your life, or screwing you over, or here, did it do this and do that. Like, I seen it.
Well, let me just say this, and then I'll be done with it. Um, you need to say something, Alice?
Hmm.
You say something? I thought Alice was saying something.
No, that was Real's background.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Let me
Go
just
ahead.
say this. In my opinion, the black race is the only race that just desecrate each other.
Yes.
There's no respect for our men and no respect for our women when it comes to us. If you look in other cultures, yes, they have their own issues. Yes, they have their problems, but they don't destroy each other the way that we destroy each other. They don't have the negative
Facts.
thoughts
Mm-hmm.
that we have for each other. They don't try to put each other down no matter what. And we know Becky and them be taking everybody money. We know that for a fact. But in other races, some of them chicks, they be trying to take their men out, but they all still have respect for each other. And I feel like if we all just go back to the basics and start saying, and start respecting each other, then we can do better when it comes to each other, whether we stay together or not, whether we stay married or not be married, or whether we're in this relationship and it don't work out or what have you. We still don't have to try to destroy each other. And I feel like that's one of our problems. There's no respect for either side. Everybody have their own opinion about, all the women have not all the women, but a lot of women have an opinion about men, and a lot of men have the opinion about women. And so we all walk around with this sour taste in our mouths when it comes to each other. And we just have to get back to basics. We have to start back respecting each other and, lifting each other up instead of tearing each other down, because that's basically what we do in our communities. If we're not taking each other out, we're tearing each other down. And I feel like those are two main things that we need to try to get back to in order to put some order back in our communities, because we out of order wholeheartedly. We just totally out of order when it comes to us. And I just don't see that in other communities. It's even other communities, they're able to like help, the to me, our race is the only race that don't really have our own. We don't, and I know, we've tried to build up and we've tried to thrive and we've tried to have our own, but because of other forces, they've taken it all away from us, and it's like we can't get back up. It's like a lot of us have fallen
Mm-hmm.
and we just can't get back up for some reason. So I feel like that's where we're going to have to start in order to start. We're going to have to start back respecting each other, and we're going to have to start back trusting each other and just being there for each other. And like y'all said, be accountable for our own actions. And that's another problem that we have. We're never accountable for anything that we do. If we divorce each other, well, it was his fault. Well, it was her fault. She didn't do this or
Mm-hmm.
he didn't do that. And instead of
Mm-hmm.
everybody just saying, well, it just didn't work out. I just wasn't
Come
vibing
on, I
with that
said what I
person.
said. Mm-hmm.
We just wasn't on the same page. I made the decision too quickly. I misjudged, or I got some issues. He couldn't handle it, or he got some issues. I couldn't handle it. Whatever it is, you know, we're just not doing that, and I feel like that's why we can, that's why as long as we stay in the realm that we're staying in, it's all just going to be a circle. We're going to just keep going around in this circle until we start back respecting each other again and taking accountability for our own actions.
And you have to we have to also respect ourselves, and I know sometimes, we get beside ourselves. I did today. I have, but and we have to forgive ourselves, for our younger selves, and when we didn't know, and when we didn't understand, and we have to forgive the other person, for what they didn't know and what they didn't understand, and in everything, because a lot of times, we hold people, we put them on pedestals, and we expect, people to know things, and we don't always know. And sometimes, you can you can know and understand, but you still, you make, a mistake, and sometimes it could just be a decision, to not to. And as people, we have to give each other room, to do that, and not only room, but understanding, that none of us are perfect. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, I totally agree with that. And it's like we all have to have an understanding, because now it's just like I said, with different situations, it's just like if everybody just works together with something, because then it's like if we go by anything of old, like it's like, okay, technically a woman's not supposed to speak about God online unless she's given permission by her husband. And if she prays anywhere on live, she's supposed to have her hair covered, and she's supposed to not have no makeup on her face. Like if we go all the way like that, but it's just like I feel like some of that stuff was just added in. I have no idea. But if we want to be technical and really go by the word, there would be no women speaking about God on the internet. It just wouldn't.
Or in
And,
life, period. and
or in
and
life,
and
period.
they're always trying to.
And also y'all be in dresses, and I mean not dresses but robes, because Jesus didn't have no pants on; he had a robe on. So I digress.
See, how do you know about that's what I'm trying to say. Everything has been switched. And then women actually wore the pants to prevent them from being raped. They would wear that, they would wear pants with a chastity belt or a regular belt. It would help them not get. And then somewhere in I think like the second century of AD, women started wearing, dresses for easier things because of burlesque traditions. But it's like we all have to realize things are different, and it's whoever's approved. And I think that now even our community, they make it harder, because the moment, and this is facts right here, the moment when you say that you are I want to follow God, or I'm a Christian, people, it's a fact, will use that as an excuse to try to test you or go harder at you, and
Yes,
expect you to
yes,
they want to go harder at you. And then it's like, oh well, they want to use you as a battering ram. And then I don't
yeah,
know what it is, but and there's data on this too, but I've noticed it. But when I saw the data on it, and it's they'll do these things and then expect you to, oh well, you're a Christian or you're a person of God, you're supposed to
and
forgive it.
yes.
Or why you or
I
you
am going through that right now. And when I tell y'all, no, let me tell y'all what I say. You will not weaponize my faith against me, okay?
yes,
Cause
yes.
see, people feel like, oh, you supposed to be chant, they always want to, oh, Vaughn, you just got baptized. Let me tell you something. I don't care, okay? What does that mean? That I get to be your doormat? What does that mean? That you get to just say whatever you want to say to me, and I'm supposed to be saved, and I'm supposed to just, straight go to God? Like, oh, so you're trying to weaponize, you're trying to use my faith as a weapon against me so that you can have more power in the situation, or you can cuss me out and I'm just supposed to be, quiet or something. And no, that's not right. Stop doing that to people. Okay? Because I'm not
Exactly.
going. I'm not the one. I don't care.
And
Like,
I
don't play
attributed
with
that
me.
to probably more demons or something hopping on them. So now it's, oh, let me try to find a chink inside your armor. But it's like literally people will do that. And then you got another stronger percentage that, oh, well, I just want to test your new faith. I just want to see, or like, see, you ain't changed,
Yep,
and you're not
exactly. Or
supposed to do
it
that.
ain't real, and you ain't gave your life to God, and you a false prophet. And
Nope,
first of all,
God.
nobody said I was a prophet. Okay. See, people like to take their own insecurities and their own, issues, and take it out on you. And then they will, try to use God against you. And how I look at it is, before you, point a finger at me, what about you and what you done did? You know what I'm saying? Just
And
because, I have chosen a new path in life, that does not give you the right to, use that against me. It just doesn't.
well, and,
Yeah,
and also too, don't worry about what they say. You know who
yeah,
you are. You
but
know whose you are. So it don't really matter what they say and think at the end of the
true.
day.
But if they know it's something from your past that used to bother you, and that's why the Bible warns against that, they say if you know that this weakens your brother or your sister and they are inside faith, do not try to use that against them because it's like you
Thank
know, like
you,
if
real.
you know
Whew.
that your brother had an alcohol problem or an attitude problem, it specifically warns against that. Don't try to test that because they're always contesting against their flesh and the spirit. So you don't try to
Hmm.
add to it, but people will try to do it on purpose to see if
Yep.
you
Or
change.
they'll
And
try
it's
to
just,
like when you get upset, oh, you ain't finna do nothing but go get a drink. And it be like, what, excuse me? Like, what are you talking about?
they're doing it on
Or
purpose.
you
It's
ain't finna do nothing but get mad and get the hooping and hot. And my thing is this, look, don't of course you don't want to give nobody the satisfaction, because for me, it's my anger. So, and see, for me, I'm gonna give you exactly what you looking for, because what you not gonna do is think that, oh, or I can say this and that to Kevon, and I can do this and that to Vaughn, and she just gonna go to God. Oh, I'm gonna give you what you looking for, and I'm gonna go to God. Now what? Now, okay, you got me that you dealing with. Well, you ain't even got to worry about me. Okay, but because I'm the child of the Most High, okay, now he gonna get you. And what I could have really gave you, because even though I just look, I'm just being honest, y'all. Nothing I can do to you is worse than what God can do to you. Is all I'm
mm,
gonna say. So while people be trying to weaponize people's faith against them, you better watch out. Like real talk, because especially if you're intentionally provoking someone, to get out of character, provoke, because you don't know what people's issues are. Because I'm telling y'all what mine is, right? That I have issues with anger, right? But see, the next person, you don't know what their issue is. You know what I'm saying? So if they are struggling with
yes,
drugs or alcohol or whatever, and you then sent them off, you're gonna be responsible for that. If that person,
yes.
get
Do
gets
not
get
provoke your brother to his
yeah,
weakness or to
you gonna
his
be in
that. Like
trouble.
it tells you don't do that because it'll be worse than for you to put something around your neck and throw you into the river because like you're purposely doing that. Like if you know that your brother is such and such to alcohol, do not drink around him. If you know that his part of the region, oh, they do not partake in certain meals or certain meats, and this is scripture. Do
Y'all
not
real
try
went
to
out
eat
unless
that.
my sound went out.
Oh,
Miss Alice, did the sound go? I said what I said. Blue, did the sound go out?
No, we hear
uh,
you fine.
Oh, that's
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
we
I
here.
can't hear real. I can't hear real.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna just say this one last thing. Sometimes I like, and this is just my opinion on it. I feel that sometimes when we find our new like faith, not a religion, our faith and our walk with God, sometimes it's just best to not even say anything. We just go on about it because once you say that, people will intentionally test you and try to find chinks inside your armor. But if they never knew, and you were just going about your way doing it yourself, it's like they would never know. So it's almost like it antagonizes them and it makes them angry. And I know it's easier said than done to say, oh, just ignore it and this and that. But we all know people come at you harder and do things and say things, and they'll do it to get the last laugh of oh, I know you. I knew you didn't change. It's like, don't do that. If a person's going on a walk, don't intentionally do things of their past to try to pull them out of their character to see if they
You're
truly
supposed to
change.
encourage and
Encourage them.
uplift. You're supposed. You're not. I'm gonna just say this. Even if it's not, a person, who's, walking in a new faith. Like Real said, just a new walk. Period. Provoking someone is, first of all, if you have a provoking spirit, on you, and I'm gonna keep it real. I can recognize it easily. When people have that provoking spirit. And I'm gonna just say, I've experienced it too. I've had it. I probably still have it. Okay, who knows? I don't know. But my point is, that's wrong. It is wrong to nitpick.
Can't hear you, Vaughn.
Oh wait, hear me? Can y'all hear me now?
Mhm.
Just stay away from them. If you feel that somebody is, just so bad, or they did so bad to you or around you, or you can't see that change, just stay away from them you know. And I'm gonna keep it real and say I'm gonna stay away from y'all too. And when I say y'all, I'm not talking about y'all. I'm just speaking in general. I'm gonna stay away from you too, because if you got that much animosity towards a person that you want to bring them down in any shape, way, form, or fashion. You see, like for me, y'all. Okay, well, everybody don't know this, but okay, some of y'all know I didn't finish school, right? If you see that, okay, Vaughn is trying, why would you come bringing up, oh, you 30 and you got kids and it's too late for you?
Hmm.
Why would you come doing that? Let me
Encourage.
just ask yourself that. Why would you come around someone who you see is trying to cut the grass? They've never cut the grass before a day in their life. And here, oh, you don't know what you doing. You might as well just, shut up.
Well, let me just
You
say
know,
this, Bond. It's never too late. I got my degree. I started at 20, and it took me 20 years. I kept working on it, cheaping on it, working on it, cheaping on it. And I didn't actually get my bachelor's degree until I was in my 40, until I was 40. I think I was 40, 41, or something like that. So don't let anybody tell you about who you are
Hmm.
and where you going. You never know. And you can go back to school anytime. So, um, it's people go back to school at 50, 60, 70 years old. So that's always an option for you. And, just try not to let people
I
water
know
you,
I said
because,
what I
yeah,
said.
they are going to try to do that. And a lot of times, the devil is going to come your way. When you say you're a child of God, you are going to be tested. And it's up to you to pass those tests, sweetie. You're gonna have to pass the test. And only you know your anger, you know how much you can take and how much you can't take. But yes, ma'am, you're gonna be tested. Trust me, you're gonna be tested a lot, because people don't believe that you are changed. Some people don't want you to change, and some people are just mean and evil and just gonna see, I'm gonna see if this heifer, this the attitude. I'm gonna see if this heifer is really changed. I'm gonna see if I can ruffle her feathers.
Yup.
And so
Exactly.
it's gonna be all type of devils coming your way. So but you're gonna have to just to knock them, sock them. I don't know if you're old enough to remember those rock'em sock'em boxing gloves, but that's what you're gonna have to put your boxing gloves on and start fighting those battles and fight them in a different way. And you can show somebody way better than you can tell them, and show them who you are.
Right.
Right. I hear y'all. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Hmm.
Blue, what you have to say?
Hey Alice, hey panel, hey chat.
Hey, Blue.
I just
Hey, bro.
wanted to piggyback off what everybody is saying about how we as people, and I'm gonna say we because I don't know a person who's innocent of, or hasn't done this, but we as people, we all we I believe, it's my opinion, that we all have done some of the things that we're talking about others have done to us, and sometimes stuff comes back on us, just maybe in a different form, in a different way. Also, it's really important when you start a new journey, whether it's with the Lord, whether it's with whoever you say God is, whether it's a work, whether it's a lifestyle, it's important to use wisdom on who to open your mouth to and tell it to in the first place.
Mhm.
See, we open our mouths and we say too much, and then we've allowed other people to now have an opinion. And those opinions we can't control. They're either going to be good or they're bad. Also, we don't have to speak about nothing. Our actions will speak for us. Just like the Bible says, your gift will make room for you. It's not people making room for you, it's God intervening on your behalf. So we have to be careful about how much we say to people, you know what I'm saying? And we have to ask God for wisdom on who to say it to. When I came out here and started sharing my story, it wasn't right away. I had to hear from God, okay, what do I say? What do I not say? People are going to have opinions, and I can't be in my feelings about it sometimes because I'm the one that put it out there, right? So we have to just kind of make sure that we cover ourselves by not speaking too much, too fast, about any changes. You know what I'm saying? I remember Vaughn saying to me, girl, if you get pregnant, don't tell YouTube. And I was like, you're absolutely right. Because there are so many negative things that people will have to say. There's so many positive things too. But then if I'm hearing the negativity or I'm seeing it, or somebody is bound to come back and say, girl, somebody watched your video and they over there talking about you. I'm not about to be stressed out in my daggone pregnancy. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I did not
So
want that for Blue. Don't want it.
so you have to be careful. It starts with us. How much are we telling people? How much are we sharing? And are we doing it because we just want people to know? Or are we doing it because God released us to open our mouths and speak it? And when God releases you to open your mouth and speak something about a journey, spiritual journey, whatever it is, whatever life changes you've made, you've been to get a divorce, you about to move to another state, whatever it is, you have to use wisdom and you have to use discernment. And when God releases you to say something or God releases you to do something, He's going to protect what He put in you. And that people are going to talk because we are going to talk. We are going to have something to say, right? He's gonna put
Right.
up that blocker so that we don't say it.
Hmm.
And I keep saying we because I think sometimes we forget that even though we're not doing what they're doing, we're doing something else that they probably wouldn't really be doing or that they would not be comfortable with, or we're saying something that they're not saying, but it's still wrong, right? Like we all have we all have multiple flaws, you know what I'm saying? And so we have to think about that. And then lastly, I wanted to get back to what Alice's topic was in the beginning. She was sharing her story about being sick, and she was saying how, when she got to the point that enough was enough. And I wanted to share my story, to piggyback off of her story. When enough was enough for me was when I tried to end it all the last time, not the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, but the last time when I tried to end it all and I could clearly see that God was blocking it.
Mm.
That was when enough was enough for me. But when I think about that question, when is enough? For me, I don't think when is enough from other people. I think, Tia, when is enough from you? When is
Ooh.
enough of you being stupid? When is enough of you procrastinating? Come on, somebody. When is enough of you? Not enough of Vine, or enough of Real, or
Mm.
enough of I said what I said, or enough with Alice, or enough is enough with YouTube, or my spouse. When is enough with my own behavior?
Ooh.
With my own immature ways at the age of 45? When am I going to stop acting like I'm a toddler? When am I going to stop acting like I'm a teenager? So that's what I say. I look in the mirror and I say, girl, when is enough for you, for me? And I think that that's a flip and a spin on this topic,
Mm.
because
I get it.
we are so easy. It's so easy to see everything else that everybody is doing, but clean that crap off your mirror and look at yourself, because you got a book of stuff that you should be sick of, that you should be like, enough is enough. With my attitude, Vine said she got an anger issue. So I would ask Vine, when is enough of you having that anger issue? You know what I'm saying? Somebody else might say, I'm overeating. Okay, when is enough? Look at yourself and say that. And that's really a powerful thing. And that's the twist on Alice's question. Because the first thing we want to do is be like, ugh, my husband is doing this and enough is enough. I wish he just stopped because it's getting on my nerve. Okay. And then I look back at me and I got so much in my eyes and so much going on in my life. I don't really have time to be thinking about what's enough with somebody else. I just don't. And maybe that's not everybody's story. Maybe other people are like, well,
Mm.
I'm good, so I got time to focus on what's enough with the next person. I beg to differ, because this world becomes a better place when each individual makes a conscious decision for themselves to be a better them. Then, when they're a better them, they can adjust and change the atmosphere. Girl, can't nobody change your atmosphere. Yeah, you can change your atmosphere. You can change your surroundings. You tired of other people doing stuff? Well, walk away. That's on you, not on them. That's on you to walk away. It's on you to be quiet and quit telling all your daggone business. It's on you to look at yourself. So then when you look at yourself and fix yourself, you don't have to worry about nobody else trying to check you or trying to fix you or throwing dirt in your eye or, telling you not this and you not that, because now you've looked at yourself and you know who you are. You understand what
Hey,
I'm
Shadow.
saying? Hey,
Mm.
Fridge. So that's the way I'm taking the question that Alice put out 17 hours ago. I'm looking at I'm looking at what's enough. When is enough of me before I look at the other person? Take the mote out of your own eye, or however that scripture goes, something like that, right? What's on me that needs to be off of me? I did a live, or I did a video last year. The video was titled "I'm Sick of You." And people turned out for that video. Why? Because they want to know who is Blue sick of on YouTube now. You know what that video was about? I'm
Yourself?
sick of me, right? All they heard was me huffing and puffing and fussing. And then I come on the camera and I say, this is what some of us need to say to ourselves, right? I'm sick of myself doing this, doing that. I'm sick of putting myself on top of a shelf. My man ain't doing that. My wife not putting me on the shelf. My people haven't forgot about me. It's me forgetting about me. It's me putting myself on the back burner. It's me putting my stuff in a suitcase and sticking it far back in the closet where I can't see it. But it's still in my atmosphere. It's still in my mind. It's still in my heart. You know what I'm saying? So I would encourage everybody to to replay that question. Watch the beginning of the live. Replay the question for yourself. When is enough of your behavior? When is enough of your being mentally unhealthy? When is enough of you
Amen.
continuing to bump your head against the wall and then you pointing the finger at somebody else because somebody 15 years ago did this and you haven't forgiven yourself? I hollered when Vaughn said, you got to forgive yourself. You know what? That's so powerful. When is enough of you not forgiving yourself? You worried about others forgiving
Mm.
you? You worried about who you forgave and who you didn't forgive? What about you? Have you forgiven yourself lately? It is the 5th month of the year. Have you forgiven yourself for the stuff that you said in December you weren't going to do, but you did it in January? Did you forgive yourself for that? And when you forgive yourself, are you correcting it? Right? Forget correcting your neighbor. Have you corrected yourself? You know what I'm saying? And then lastly, accountability. Powerful statement from Vine. We got to be accountable. Well, guess what? I can't talk about folks being accountable if I first am not taking my own advice and doing what the heck I'm trying to tell other people to do. That's not saying y'all are doing that. That's just an overall statement. If we want to see accountability, we have to see it within ourselves first. This is my journey. This is your journey, right? And when we stand before God, He not finna ask us about what Alice did. He not finna ask me, Tia Michelle Burrell, aka Blue, what did Vaughn do? What did I say what I said do? He not finna ask me that. He not finna ask me to speak for somebody else's accountability. He gonna ask me about my own. And he ain't asking because he don't know. He asking because he wanna see if I'm gonna finally be accountable. So that's all.
Mm. Mm. I can see both aspects. Like it. Well said.
Thank you, Blue.
Take accountability for self, and then the other people, y'all stop provoking people, but then at the same time, take accountability for yourself. I get both sides, so it's like two peas of a pod, but it all makes sense, and I like that addition to it. Cool, well said.
Oh,
You
she's
used to?
gone.
Oh,
Yeah, well, Alice, I'm gonna drop down too.
Yeah, I
Thank
was
you
gonna
for
say
Okay.
letting me
I'm
come.
a. Oh, go ahead. I said what I said. My bad.
It's okay.
yeah.
Thanks for letting me come on the panel. It's been great
You're
speaking to
welcome.
everybody today. And I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
drop down and get in the chat.
All
Same.
righty.
All
It's
right.
cool.
Yeah, great live, Miss Alice. I'm in the bathtub,
Definitely.
but wonderful live. Thank you for coming up, allowing me to come up here and say what I had to say. You know, I agree with everything Blue said, everything Real said. I said what I said, and Miss Alice, I like the
Vaughn, you went out. I like the, and then you went out.
saying I like the live, enough is enough, and like Blue said, I think it's time for me to ask myself a few questions, even though, that was the whole point of your live. But
Mhm.
I like how she put that because, it does come a time where you have to ask yourself, when is enough of your own, behavior. And, sometimes I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I get upset, and I jump the gun and I do a lot, and it's time for enough of that. It's just time. Even though I don't feel I jumped the gun too much today, I just didn't have to do it in the way that I did. But great live, Miss Alice. Okay, I love y'all. All right, I'm
Love
gone.
you too. Thank you.
Yes. And Alice does it again. Look, you brought everybody together and you helped to pull out the best in us to get the perfect sense of our perspectives. And I like it because now everybody gets to see how people look at a situation, and then you can add that to your own arsenal of what you already know and see somebody else's way of what they've gone through. And now it's like, okay, good. I can relate to this. I can relate to that. And now I'm taking this all, and it's just like we're all uplifting each other. Like I like it. It's nice. Well done, all of you. It's like chickadee.
Thank you.
I'm gonna drop down now.
All
Well, you
righty.
have a blessed one.
You too. Thanks again.
All
Get
right,
that phone fixed.
I will. All right.
All righty. So let me read some of the comments that I start. Let's see. This one is Blue, letting you know that the links will be dropped um, when I do the like, share, subscribe portion, which I'm getting ready to do as soon as I finish reading these comments. This was when we were talking about the iPhone versus Androids. Blue said all phones can crack, Alice, just like people. And she said Android phones can break too. Blue was in her feelings about Android. So then Blue says, I just try not to speak like I have all the answers. I only share my story and people take what they need and leave the rest. I don't want to seem like I have all and the only answer. Janice says, I don't want to bring this up, but it fits. That for me was different for others, and some don't participate or believe in it. I won't judge them or talk bad about their beliefs. Right, Janice. Charlie's Angel, we can step up and help each other and stop being so sensitive when someone points out what's hurting you. Chill Will Crew, my opinion, when enough is enough, when a person know who they became in Christ, they will not allow a man or woman to continue to steal their peace with evil ways. Prayers are powerful. So true. That's it for the starred comments. So I'm going to go ahead and play this real quick. And while I'm playing this, my minds will be dropping links, and please drop all the links for the moderators who have content on their channels. You can also drop Janice's link as well. And also drop, well, you don't need to worry about the panel because everybody on the panel are moderators. So the moderators who have channels and content, and Janice as well. Okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, the links are still being dropped. So while the links are being dropped, I want to say a special thank you to Janice for the Cash App. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so very much. You did not have to do that. Thanks again. And let me acknowledge everyone who was in the chat. Who dat? Questionese, Larry, Wanda, Jamila, Chill Will Crew, Charlie's Angel, Gertrude's Fan Life, and Shadow. And my moderators, Blue, Shay, Shanice, I said what I said, Real, and Bond. So that looks like that's it. Hey, Marjan, you'll have to catch the replay. Thank you. So again, thanks everybody. Okay, you said all links are dropped. Thanks everybody for coming to the live, and thank you so much. Okay, thanks Blue. Thank you so much for participating in the chat, and a special thanks to the people who didn't necessarily say anything in the chat, but you watched and listened from the bushes. Whatever reason you decided not to come in, it's fine. I still appreciate your support. So again, I want to remind you all that God loves you even more than I do. And I really do love you all. So I'm going to play this music, my outro. And once this is over, the live will be ending as well. Everyone stay blessed, and I look forward to seeing you the next time, which will be Thursday for a Thoughtful Thursday. All right.